Okay, welcome. And thank you for attending the State Board of Accountancy's stakeholder meeting via webinar today. The date is Friday, July 12th, 2024, and it is 10:02 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce the staff members from the Division of Professions and Occupations that are present. My name is Nate Brown. I'm the regulatory analyst for the division. Also attending are Karen Phelan, program director, and Maria Resconarana, the regulatory coordinator. The division has transitioned to a platform that is 100% virtual, and we appreciate your flexibility. As many of you have been to DORA stakeholder meetings before, we'd like to reiterate the importance of your comments today. DORA makes decisions every day that may affect your life and your business, so your input is vital in the rulemaking process. Throughout this process, our goal is to create regulations that clarify and explain legislation, ensure minimum competency to enter and continue practice, and provide only what is absolutely necessary for consumer protection without creating unnecessary barriers to the marketplace. Your input will be part of the information that goes to the board as it considers adopting revisions to these rules. More specifically, today we will discuss proposed changes to Rule 1.5, education requirements for examination and certification, 1.7, experience requirements for certification, and 1.8, requirements for certification. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the board's website by the close of business on Monday. As the stakeholder meeting is held solely by webinar, please raise your hand by using the hand icon if you would like to speak, and we will unmute your line so you will be heard by everyone. Or you can alternatively type your comment in the question section and we will read it aloud. Before we start taking comments, I want to ask that anyone providing comments, please state your name and the name of the organization that you represent, if any. Feel free to provide either general comments on the rule changes or specific comments on the proposed language. We will be limiting your comments to 3 minutes today, and try not to repeat something that was already said. Stating you are in full agreement with someone else works just fine and will be noted as such. Just some ground rules or housekeeping matters before we dig into it here. If you're using the audio through your computer, please remember to put any phones on vibrate or turn them off. And, whether you are using computer or phone audio, try to keep background noises to a minimum when speaking. And with that, we will go ahead and begin taking questions. Again, if you do, I apologize. I will continue. I will speak a little slower. I apologize. Do you want to? There we go. We have our first hand. And I'm just gonna, if I butcher anybody's name, please excuse that for me. But Alicia Galinas, you should be able to go ahead. You'll have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Alicia Galinas, and I am the CEO of the Colorado Society of CPAs. I have provided a comment in written form here, but I believe there might be some confusion about the written comment provided, so I wanted to provide clarity verbally. My question is in section that you have up here, D1, and it references 27 semester hours of non-duplicative coursework. However, the next section refers to 21 semester hours of accounting courses that excludes introductory accounting courses. So I believe the difference between the 21 and the 27 is implied that students must take 6 hours of introductory courses. And my question to the board is whether that is the intention, that there is a required 6 hours of introductory, or if the intention is that any 27 hours must be taken. So my recommendation would be to make that explicit, if so, or change the section 1 to reflect 21 semester hours, excluding introductory courses, to be consistent.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your comment. And as you'll see, I'll be taking some notes here on the side, just so we can kind of keep everything in order and make sure that everybody's comments are captured in writing as well as on the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right, well, let's see if we get any more comments or questions. Again, you can, of course, always type them in. Raise your hand and we will unmute you. Well, I don't see any other hands raised at the moment. Let's see, looks like we got a Q&A and a question. Oh, I'm asking about the sections that can be commented on. No, feel free to give comments on other sections as well. You know, the rules that were noticed were 1.5, 1.7, and 1.8. So certainly any of those are fair game. And Alicia, I see your hand went back up. Please unmute when you're ready, and you will have another 3 minutes.
Thank you, and thanks for the clarification on the process. I wanted to make one other recommendation that was in written form but not properly reflected in the comments in this note here, to decide on the experience requirements in Rule 1.7.A.1.B. It is referencing the work hours. My comment to the side wasn't properly reflected, but my comment is that I recommend that I'm in support of this particular change, but that it is stated that any qualifying work hours, which is provided below, obtained during an academic internship that is claimed for the educational credit rule, may also be included. I think it's just a wordsmithing that is confusing when we say for both experience and educational credit. So I think the clarification here is just that a qualifying work hour may be included regardless of whether it's in the educational part of an academic internship. And my comment is in writing, so actual language may be referenced.
Well, thank you so much. Okay. Let me stop the timer there. Excuse me there. All right. Much for your comments, and while anybody else is either formulating their thoughts to speak or typing in their questions or comments into the chat function, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for coming out on I'm sure is a busy day for you all on a Friday and during a heat wave, no less. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come to the stakeholder meeting. You know, we really couldn't do what we do around here without public input. You all are in large part the subject matter experts that we rely on to make sure that what we're doing is workable and in the best interests of everybody involved. So your input, I want to assure you, is valuable and is always taken into account. We really appreciate you coming out today.
Nate, I do have a comment. Just want to interject, or if you want to just tell everyone that.
Excuse me. Yes, I completely forgot. So, Karen, thank you so much, and I can tell them, or if you'd like to as well. But it was so in looking at these rules and having had the board take a look at some of the previous stakeholder comments. You know, maybe some of these changes might not necessarily be ripe for action at the next board meeting. So what it has been decided is that the actual hearing to decide, you know, whether or not to adopt the changes proposed here is going to be pushed back until October. and instead of at the what I believe was the schedule for August, the August meeting. So just give a little bit more time for folks to digest the proposed changes and to make suggestions. My apologies, Karen. If you'd like to share anything else in that regard, please go ahead.
Thank you, Nate. Yes, I just want to tell everyone, part of the reason is due to the last meeting and just my assessment of the board of members that we did have. Our board chair was missing, of course, because she was at our NASBA regional meeting. We did have a couple other members who had missed a couple board meetings. And because we are not under any time constraints, I just felt that it was better to take it more slowly so the board at the next meeting can really look at all of your comments, completely digest that, and then potentially there would be another stakeholder meeting, and then have our rulemaking, as Nate said, at the October meeting. It would just be better for everyone, I think, to be satisfied with the deliberation.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate giving that context. All right, got a hand raised from Aaron Poley. Please excuse any butchering of any name. Once you're able to unmute, please go ahead. You'll have 3 minutes. There you go. Aaron Poley, you should be unmuted. If you'd like to go ahead, please go ahead. Looks like it was, oh, the microphone doesn't seem to be working, but we did get a written comment from the same individual. Could someone explain the requirement for CR&R training? The regulations refer to many sections of the Colorado revised statutes. Going back and forth is time consuming. And if that's in reference to one of the rules that we're sort of focusing on today, if you wouldn't mind letting me know so we can make sure that is addressed appropriately.
Yeah, this is Karen. I mean, I can just tell you, obviously, the
go ahead.
CR&R is required for any new candidate within 6 months after they become licensed. The board also uses it, it's not in rule, but as a disciplinary measure to remind licensees about the rules and regulations. Obviously, you can use it for CPE. So that's the reason for it. Do you have a specific question, a specific area that you're concerned about? That would be helpful.
Yes, thank you, Karen. And yeah, there's not technical difficulties, not able to speak, but of course, please keep typing into the chat. All right. I am not seeing any additional hands raised or questions quite yet. It did sound like Mr. Poley was going to be looking up some information to perhaps add additional context to his question. So we will, of course, give it some time. We have another good 40 minutes scheduled today, so of course you don't want to rush anybody. And as well, I also wanted to reiterate that even after we log off here today, you're free to always send in written comments. We have a rulemaking email that you can find on our website. You should be able to submit any written comments there as well. All right, still not seeing any additional hands or questions. We'll give it another couple minutes before we close up for today. We don't want to rush anybody, of course. I don't want to waste anybody's time either. So we will cut it short if there aren't any other questions, but I did want to give it a few more moments just in case anybody was formulating your thoughts or typing one last comment. We'll give it till about 10:22. Check the Q&A and see if anybody has any other questions. Doesn't appear so. I don't see any additional hands raised. I did want to give some time for Aaron and Polly to find additional information. If you had a further question, further comment for us. But of course, anybody else, if you have other thoughts, comments, questions. Otherwise, we will be wrapping it up here in just another couple minutes. All right, seems like we are towards the end. Okay, so I think we're gonna call it good for today. Okay, well, thank you so much for participating in today's meeting. As part of this collaborative process, program recommendations will be provided to the board for review before the next board meeting on August 21st, 2024. Any proposed revisions by the board will be made available to stakeholders for additional comments prior to the board's rulemaking hearing, which is currently scheduled for October 16th, 2024. All rulemaking information can be found on the board's website under the Public Notices tab, and written comments may be sent to Dora_DPO_rulemaking@state.co.us. And I'll repeat that, Dora_DPO_rulemaking@state.co.us. That concludes the stakeholder meeting, and thank you again for your participation.